Hello, you fine ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? I hope your day is going well. Today we will be going over another loadout for Star Wars Battlefront, this time delving into the Force Awakens with a loadout inspired by Rey. Now, making this loadout was a bit challenging, seeing as, first of all, Rey doesn't really use that many abilities or much equipment in the Force Awakens, and most of what she does use can't really be found in Battlefront. So we have to use our imagination if we're going to accept it as a loadout inspired by Rey. But in some regards, this loadout is more or less lore friendly. Actually, on second thought, this loadout doesn't have one aspect that's absolutely lore friendly, but it is Battlefront after all, and it's somewhat close to Rey. So starting with the blaster, that's the most lore friendly part of this loadout, we are using the DL-44. Now, Rey is becoming a Jedi, and I don't think she will be using a blaster very much, if at all, in Episode 8, which would mean this loadout doesn't make the slightest bit of sense. However, as we know from Episode 7, she did use a blaster on Takodana, home to the galaxy's best tacos. Yes, thank you. I thought that one was pretty funny as well. Now, although she didn't use the DL-44, the blaster she did use looked rather similar and also had some similarities in the way they handled. Now, I don't know if I would take my word for that, because in one of my previous videos, I thought the EE4 blaster was the same blaster as one found in Battlefront 2. Turns out they were two completely different blasters, and I could not have been more mistaken. But of course, I was a little more in-depth with this analysis, and I'm not claiming that they are the same blaster, so I don't know, you decide. But here's another little connection. The blaster was also gifted to her by Han Solo in the movie, so that's another little connection for you. Now, on to the star cards. We are using the Scattershot and Cycler Rifle, and as our charge card, the Scan Pulse. Now, the Scan Pulse makes some sense because Rey, of course, is becoming a Jedi, and using the Force, Jedi can sense the presence of enemies. So in that way, using the Scan Pulse is quite supportive of the whole Rey loadout. Not to mention, the Scan Pulse is a very solid charge card to use, even after the small nerf that it undertook. The Scattershot and Cycler Rifle, on the other hand, are a bit of a stretch. I will agree with that. This loadout initially used the Scout Binoculars and Shock Grenade, but those were not very effective with this loadout, especially because I don't even know how to use the Scout Binoculars. So I thought it would be very beneficial to the loadout gameplay wise, although not in terms of its ties to the lore, to add a long range aspect. I found that this loadout was having a hard time handling opponents at a range, especially because of the DL-44, it's more suited to close range. So adding the Cycler Rifle definitely helps in that regard. Now, as to why I think it's even kind of fits into the Rey theme is because it looks Jakku-esque. It looks like it could be from Jakku, and that is of course where Rey lived, and something she might carry on her speeder she had. And the same goes for the Scattershot as well. If she was going to have a flash grenade, why not a Scattershot? Both are equally unlore friendly. And finally, for the trait, we are using the Survivalist trait, as it seems fitting for a Jedi, especially one as independent as Rey. So on to how this loadout plays as a whole. Well, it's not the greatest, but it's not too bad. The DL-44 can be a very powerful blaster. However, the number of maps that cater to it are somewhat limited, meaning you're probably going to be playing on many maps where the DL-44 is just not up to par. On the other hand, we do have the Cycler Rifle to handle the long range aspect where the DL-44 fails. However, it's not the easiest star card to use. I think we all know that the Cycler Rifle can be very, very hard to use at times, but it is useful in a pinch. The Scattershot is also useful in a pinch, but is limited to certain ranges as well, similar to the DL-44. So, would I use this loadout normally? No. Would I use it if I want it to be Rey in Star Wars Battlefront? Maybe. So all in all, it's not the best idea I've had for a loadout, but it certainly can work, and hey, at least we're not using those stinking Scout Binoculars. So if you do want to use this loadout and be proficient with it, I would definitely suggest sticking to smaller, very close quarters maps, because that of course is where the DL-44 is most prominent, and the cycler rifle can also be used in a pinch at very close range as well, and same with the scatter shot and scan pulse. So it's really suited to more of a close quarters loadout, which is ironic because in the movie, of course, Rey does not use it in close quarters at all. She uses it on Takodana, which is kind of like, I don't know, the closest map in Star Wars Battlefront to Takodana would kind of be Endor, I think. So this loadout, use it in close quarters for sure, and lots of cover as well, because that will make the DL-44 far more useful. So that is it for this loadout. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's not the most lore friendly or doesn't make the most sense, but I did really want to make a Rey loadout, and I did my best trying to replicate that and still have a loadout that actually works. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I'm very glad. If you wish to subscribe, feel more than welcome to. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.